I thought I could set the time at a little bit after noon. I tried to set it for a later time, did something wrong, and it made it look like I was going live. So I quickly canceled that. I don't know if it showed up on anybody else's side, but there wasn't anything on my live list. So just gonna start walking out this way today. It has rained here the past several days. I don't know if it's enough for the grass to come back. Hi, Molly. I'm hoping that the rain keeps up though. Every couple of days would be nice. But I'm gonna start by walking through here. I know I've only gone here once in the wintertime, but I see their bucket has moved. So after this live, I'm gonna have to come back here with the garden hose and fill up their water trough. Because if I don't get to it, they're gonna start chewing on it, because they have already. Oh, I don't know if the wind is really bad this way. Rain, you gotta let me cross through. Hey. So you can even see that the sand is wet. But yeah, these guys are bone dry. They may have finished it yesterday. Hi, RJ. Every time I try to go for a walk on this side of the property, there's always a little bit of a wind, and it's because I sit on top of a hill and there's barely any trees on this side. But I don't know if I'm going to stay on full hour. We'll see. I've got quite a bit of work to do today. I'm still in the middle of installing the sink that I bought, which is, I don't know, I've lived without a kitchen sink for the past 5 years. So I'm loving the fact that I'm getting to get it installed. I've got the water hooked up in the kitchen again. So no more hauling water from the bathroom. I can't believe I lived like that for 5 years. And I see donkeys coming back with us. She's been making a mess of my bales. Oh, I thought I'd go through here to the tree line that goes to the main road and check how much I need to clean up. How many twigs and branches I need to cut down, haul out of here. And I've got oh, that's awesome, RJ. Yeah, I need to get Jack exercising a bit now that these guys can reach the bales. So I got the hay delivered because I'm really short with the drought or the lack of rain that we've been having. I have no more grass for them. So I needed the hay delivered. And they're reaching over the fence and they're probably eating too much now. And Jack, the horse, the brown one that I just passed, he's the one I ride. I need to start exercising him a bit. The horses have a path right through the middle of the trees here. But all of these were sea buckthorn. Hi, Jovita. Sea buckthorn, I think is what they call it. And it makes an excellent jam, or at least I like it. But I see they've all died in here. So I'm going to have to clean all this up eventually. But the caraganas were eaten down by the grasshoppers, it seems. And all of these branches on the bottom of the pines. Hi, one day at a time. Were eaten by the deer this past winter. It was so bad. I feel like I don't have enough time having the whole summer off. That it's almost flown by too fast. And yesterday I was out visiting my parents and I took a video of my stud and mares that's going to be something that I'll probably do this evening. I'll put the video out. Nothing too important. Just sat with the horses for about 15 minutes. Now, I'm not sure what kind of bush this is. Could be chokecherry. I'm not sure, but I walked over here because these, what are these things? Is it like that tent caterpillar or something? It looks disgusting. Hi, my wild home. Huh. I'll have to come back here with my picture of this to see what kind of berries these are. But I don't walk out here very often. Didn't know that that was here. Didn't realize that all my sea buckthorn had died in here. But I guess they need more water than what I have on my land. Yeah, Vita, that looked disgusting to me. I don't want to touch it. A bunch of caterpillars in there. I thought maybe it was like a spider web, but it's not. Yeah, that's not something I see very often. Oh, I can feel the wind coming when I get more open in the trees here. The wind is blowing harder. I hope it's not too much because I want to go to, I've never walked on a live to the northeast corner. And hopefully the dogs stay with me because I'm walking right up to the road here, which is on the east side of my property. So I probably wouldn't be able to see it from here because it does go uphill a bit. But the trees that you see in the distance, that's on the other side of the road. Let's see if I pan this way, you can see the road there. And then I have a bit of a hill and the road goes downhill. He caught the scent of something. And I know there's some trees growing in the open here that I need to cut down because I came across one that has thorns on it and I don't want that with my horses, but they wouldn't run into it. I don't know which one exactly, but I need to chop it down. But yeah, just so dry here. Like, there is some grass, but little clumps. Hi, Johnny Small Pepper. I see some other people. People are saying hi. I think I missed some people coming in. Hi, John. It is a beautiful day. And I'm going to stop here to see. If you guys look, there's the neighbor's rooftop. I'm trying not to shoot my camera that way too much. Hi, Mary and Gary. I saw you guys were live, but I missed it. I started watching the beginning until it was time to walk outdoors. I'll have to go back and watch the whole thing. I have been catching up on the Duttons lately. That's what I had my breakfast. But I don't know, YouTube doesn't give me my notifications because I do have my bell on. So, you can see the neighbor that rents out their land. The farmer planted canola. That's the yellowish green in the distance. And I'm kind of walking on a hill, going to be walking downhill right away. Oh, and I have tons of these. My app says that these are evening primrose. It is, to me, it's a weed, but they do have beautiful flowers on it. Yeah, I wouldn't trade. My land isn't that great, although I do hear my dog in the bush across the road, which isn't a good thing. I will take this poor land over living in town any day. And so, I'll show you guys the markers. When I first came here, so this is my 17th year here, and it probably took me 2 years before I could build this pasture up, like put the fence up. And all I did was, I think I took a trundle wheel, and my dad, hi Jerry, my dad was showing me how to use a compass, and we walked the land and staked it out. And we backed up from where we thought the property edge was, or I backed up because I put this pasture up with just a hand post digger, and I unrolled the wire out with my lawnmower. So I did this area all by myself. And now that I've got the land surveyed, I was actually off by, I think it's almost a foot in one piece. Mind you, I thought I was putting the fence line up about 10 feet into my property, but I didn't. I put it almost right on the edge. So, and all of this vegetation here is wild roses. They usually bloom in mid-July. I'm getting too much sun on the screen. Hard to see the comments. I'm gonna be walking through these poplars right away. I'll show you guys, if I can get through here, where my corner is. Try not to spend too much onto the neighbor's property just for their privacy. I guess I probably would have been smart to be walking with a machete or something like that and just hack these limbs down. But I have my Saker saw. I'm gonna have to come and cut these. And I got my 6-inch saw. Hi, Bud Files. Thank you for coming in. That I have to do a review on. I was gonna compare the two saws. Oh, and I noticed, here's my top wire. Somebody crawled through here and actually snapped my second wire because it's down. But that's all right because I'm going to be changing this fence line anyway. My big horses wouldn't go through here. I'm sure my donkey could if she wanted to. But on the other side of the fence there, maybe 5 feet away from the fence, is my corner. And of course I know you have road allowance because there's a road. I did not know that a road allowance is exactly, I think they said it was 99 feet. So if you could see the rail going across there, I am probably, that looks to be about 10 feet into it. But when we cut a line for the fence that runs parallel to the road, my dad just walked in the bush with his chainsaw and made me a path. And I put the fence line up in that path. So if I can, I'll put the fence line back in a little bit. But I mean, if I got a big oak tree in the way, I'll be going around that tree. So, just gonna head out of this corner. And these are all tiny little poplars. My Saker saw will take care of these easily. I'm so glad I got that thing because it's the exact tool that someone like me needs. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough after using it to work a chainsaw, but I need to learn how to use the small one. Get comfortable with that. Hey, and you're back already. Everyone's saying hi to Scott. Hello, Scott. Didn't see you come in, but these guys run circles around me. So, I don't know. This was all done by hand. It kind of looks straight by my eye, but it's not. And what the guys did was put a stake every 100 meters, which is close to the 330 feet. And that's exactly what a roll of the kind of fencing that I'm putting up is. Hey, wiggle butts, come in. Hello. Hi, Dawn. I'll show you how close I am. We're coming up to another stake here. Look at, I don't know if you can see all the grasshoppers. So this is how it shows me that my fence line isn't straight. It could be more or less straight, but it's on the wrong diagonal. Because at the corner, I was 5 feet away from the edge of the property. Nothing but. And this one, I don't know if it's even a foot away from the property line. That's pretty close. This line is gonna have to, I'm gonna put the fence in more, just in case the horses lean on it or try to reach over it. I haven't put up the fence yet because nobody carries it in store and they're ordering it in for me. So I may even be doing it once I get back to work, but a little bit at a time, hopefully. Whew. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm walking uphill, so I'm starting to get winded. So in the past week, what have I done this week? I installed my water again, bought a faucet, drilled a hole in my cupboard or countertop. So my kitchen is more or less functioning now. And the colts got cut. And they're pretty much on the mend now. The swelling's gone down. And Casey saw the farrier. It was pretty good for him. And actually Rip stood for the farrier too, but I didn't have him trim him. It was his first time his feet got picked up. Okay, so we're another 100 meters. Look at my fence line. So I went straight, and then it's kind of like it's on a diagonal across my property edge. So I definitely got to move this in. But I got close. Maybe within a foot. Dogs everywhere. Well, that's good. Cletus needs the exercise. He's way too big. Let's see if I can angle this up a bit. No. I feel like I was holding it down too low. So it's so weird to see the stakes too, because When I look at the next stake, you guys probably can't see it yet. If I continued this fence line straight, it doesn't look like it would be on the other side of it. So I don't know, it confuses me. But that right there is the whole area that I fenced in for these horses. And that would have been about 15 years ago. And so where you see the trees in the distance, that's where the road is. And that's where my property ends on that. I am in Manitoba. Pretty much in the middle of Manitoba, but the lower portion. So, and then my dad had made me these. I don't know if anybody's in these ones. I don't know if I can even see inside. I did see one year there was a bird in the other one. And I got all kinds of weeds blooming. I have no idea what any of this is. I did order myself that book. What's it called? The Lost Book of Herbal Medicine or something like that. Because if I'm walking, I see all kinds of different things that I know people use. I even got cattails growing in that swampy area. And I know I've got goldenrod and yarrow and I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find a use for all the things that grow here. So here's the next stake. And I go to the other side of it and pan back to my fence line. There's more of that evening primrose. So initially when they were here, they marked that as my boundary. And then I guess their boss figured out that they did it wrong. I don't even know what he called it. But he said they did it wrong. They got to come and redo the northern boundary, which gave me about 6 more feet. So I know it doesn't look like it, but that's an extra 6 feet, and that's where the stake is. And when I pan back, it's hard to see where the fence line ends, but you kind of can make it out. You gotta look from the pine tree and go to your right. Yeah, the rain that we got in the past week, it's probably rained. Oh, if it didn't rain every day, it rained every second day. So, how many acres? I've got 80 acres, Jerry, if that question was for me. My dogs must have been here one day because I see a whole bunch of dig out areas. Just hunting for gophers or whatever. And I can't even see the next stake. I can just see where they drove, which I don't know if these tire tracks are on my side. But I got a hill here, or a valley. Did I fence? No, I did not. And I can hear that hawk again. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I see about 2, 4, 6, 7. And I don't know that they're all hawks. But you don't see that unless there's something dead. But I can't go there to find out because that's not my land. Oh, I don't even know. I'm not even halfway walked up my property. And if I compare that, my hayfield is 10 to 12 acres. So I don't think that area is bigger than that. So that's what I mean. This is why it was important for me to get all of, like, everything you're looking at here right now is mine. And I'm nowhere near the hayfield because I'm on the north boundary. And so for the past 15 years, this has all been wasted. And when I moved here, this tree did not exist. So it's younger than 17 years old. I don't know exactly how old it is, but there were no trees in this area except for maybe one. And everything else just grew up in that time. So I could have this fenced in and have it as pasture for my stud and mares. And even though the grass is poor, it should sustain them the whole summer, because if I fence the north side all the way down, then that'll probably be about 40 acres, because I have a pasture for where Ty is and Rip and Casey, and that spans to the other corner. And then I have the hayfield on the back that I walked through last time. So that would be the other half of my property. So that's why I'm hoping to get most of this fenced. At least I would say the stake that I'm going to show you next is probably the midway point, because somebody good at math here, if I have 2,600 and something is half of the half mile, so a quarter mile. And 4 lengths of my fencing will be... Are you guys talking about something else? Those are not turkey vultures here. I can hear him crying. It's a red-tailed hawk. Is Food Forest in here? Hello? I would have to count 5 stakes. How many did I show you guys? I showed you 3. This would be the 4th. 1, 2, 3. I think this is the halfway point of my property. So I would have to have it fenced all the way out here. And then I could cut back, because if I span to the south, that's the end of my bush. Behind that bush is where my barn is and all that. And this bush actually has a hill in it too, and that's why it protects my yard so much. That's just the ideal place to have placed a house, which I didn't do that, the previous owner did. Because this used to be a cow pasture before, I think. But he was pretty smart in picking the area. Because if you come out here in the winter, it is miserable and cold, and the snow piles up. And that's why I am investing in the most expensive fence I can find, because it's supposed to stand up to snow, and we get lots of it. So right here is the next stake. So this would be the midpoint. Ooh, somebody just flew by. That looked like a woodpecker too. It's the midpoint of the north boundary. I don't think I can get close to him. He'll fly away. Too bad I don't have zoom on the camera. I could see him on the pine tree, but the dog is getting closer and he's jumping away to the other side. Oh yeah, Elliot, it would be awesome, and that's why I don't know if you guys were around when I was snowshoeing. This is where the snowmobilers came, going up and down these hills. Right in the center screen, not on my side of this slope, but the other side. That was the only tree that was in this pasture. when I first moved in here. And I have no idea what kind of tree that is. But I mean, any of these, like there's a little maple growing right in front of me. None of this was here. Lots of weeds here. I don't know if this is that goldenrod, or I think was mentioned last time it could be yarrow. But here are the flowers that come from it. So soon this whole area is going to look yellow. Oh goodness, I don't know if I should keep walking this way. Who is that? Hi, Sooner History and Professional Paranormal. I think I am going to start heading south and head back to the barn area and give you guys an update on Casey and Rip. Just cause I don't feel like tackling this hill in front of me. And I know it doesn't look that big, but I don't even know if you guys can see Bo climbing on the other side. Oh, there he is. And you probably can hear the train in the distance. And there's Cletus at the bottom of the hill. I'm just walking alone. Well, I can hear the hawk. I can't see him anymore though. My dogs are digging for something else here. I know you guys can hear the train in the distance. Do you ever hear the hawk? I can't hear him anymore. I'm kind of... You don't hear the train? Maybe it's because I'm sitting at the bottom of this little hill here. I'm just looking at this. This looks like some type of evergreen growing here. It's got leaves like a cedar tree. It's so cool though. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that interests me. Finding all the different plants that grow on your land. Are you close to it, Jovita? I'm not that close to it. I can hear it, but it's a mile away from me. And then there's another train north of me, and that's several miles away. And sometimes you can still hear that one too. But I mean, there's some grass at the bottom of this hill amongst all these weeds. And my horses could be grazing all of this. Mind you, there's lots of poison ivy in the middle of these weeds too. But there's the hill that I just came down. And like I said, all these pine trees, there's 2 pine and that one's a spruce on the side there. None of those were here. Food forest, does that mean foraging? Is that what you're referring to? And I love when these come in bloom. I love the looks at them. And that's just a thistle. So I guess I'm odd that way. Oh, some of these are starting to pop open. It's not gonna focus good. But yeah, you know, I guess the way you grow up, most times you learn to love that way and go back to it And that's not the case for everybody, but it is the case for me. I can remember walking our property as a kid, and you'd come across crocuses. We had a wild blueberry patch. We had wild strawberries growing. And this is way back in the late 70s, early 80s. That was your entertainment. You went for a walk with the family. So, and we always picked wildflowers, black-eyed Susans, tiger lilies, and lady slippers. Do I have coneflowers? I don't know what that is. This is the tree that I said was here when we moved here. I don't know what a coneflower is. But I guess it was so wet this year at my dad's farm. Okay, thank you, Food Forest. Yes, I probably could be doing much more with my land. And that's why I ordered that book. Because I thought, like, I don't know anything, and I could start by learning a little. And I know you could probably find all that information for free on the internet. But I like having the book in my hand. I'm old-fashioned. And that book will work when the electricity is down too. So, and then these ones, I have no idea what this is. I need to identify it. They look like mini daisies. That's so cool. I've got a lot of what you call that horsetail. See, I didn't think I was gonna last an hour, and I had 37 minutes. I must walk slow. But I don't know, for now I thought I don't really like sitting in front of the camera. I know evenings are better, but this Sunday time has just always been good for me. So for now, I'm gonna stick with my Sunday walks at 12:30. I don't know what I'll do in the winter. Just postpone it or maybe sit inside. Yeah. Remember the days of playing cards? We used to play cards with my grandmother. Board games. I guess board games are still around. But I mean, that was the norm. It wasn't just the occasion. And so I did come here. I'm walking, I'm cheating right now, eh? I did cut a path here because, let's see if you guys can see. Do you see the dead tree sitting amongst all these poplars? I guess I've been slacking off in recent years. I used to cut a path through all these poplars. None of these poplars were here, first off. But I would drive my truck all along this line. And I actually built my son a tree house at the edge of this bush. But years went by and the tree house kind of fell down. So I took all that lumber and I repurposed it and I used it, hi David, to build my, I've never shown it on a video, but my dogs have a dog house built into my garage. It's like this huge, oh, I don't know what I made it. It's probably 8 by 14. And I used all the planks for the ground level so they wouldn't dig in the dirt. And I built the walls up, I put a door on it. So I can access it like a human can access it from the one side. It's a full-size door, more or less. And from the other side, I cut a hole on the south side of the garage that the dogs go in and out of. Well, more often than not, I'm crawling through that hole to give them straw in the winter. But I put a heated light bulb and they either stay in there or they're in the house with me. And that's how the treehouse got repurposed. So, okay, thank you for coming in, Food Forest. And I do know that this, I don't know if they got like a blue tinge to it. It just looks different when you look at it. It's not green. Is wild sage because we used to do Monopoly too. I have had people travel from the city and trespass on my land to pick the wild sage. I think the guy that came here was Métis, and they smoke it. Not smoke it as in inhale it, but smudge. Is that what you call it? And then the next year he came, he had told me that he had trespassed the first year and asked permission, and I gave him permission the second year. And then the third year that he came back, I asked him not to come back anymore. It was the middle of COVID, and I thought, you know, I don't want to start opening my land for people to come take whatever they want. So I put an end to that. And he hasn't been back unless he's sneaking around and taking it. But I mean, there's tons of wild sage growing in the ditches. So, and this is my round pen. If you saw my short, I was working Tyrone in here, and I made the mistake of taking his halter off to run him in a circle. I couldn't get his halter back on for 3 days. And every day I would try a couple times. And on that third day, he finally let me catch him again. And he's been so different ever since. But I didn't just leave him for 3 days. I was feeding him and watering him here. But I wanted to be where the point where he comes right up to me and I can put the halter on. And he's more or less there. Sometimes I have to put him in the barn. Oh, I know you guys are probably getting a little bit of wind on the camera. And so, this is the old goat pen. Haven't had goats for a long time. Like, oh goodness, maybe 10 years? It's got to be less than that. But anyway, this was, the fence wasn't tight enough. They would crawl over it. I put barbed wire. The barbed wire's sagging already. I just didn't have good enough fencing for them. If I stand on this hill, I can see all the way to my alfalfa field. And I haven't seen the deer like this again. But when I first moved here, they must have been migrating over my whole property because I could see the alfalfa field and there were at least 100 deer. So sometimes you see them in big groups like that. They're just moving through an area. And I did mow this area out here because I used to be able to drive through here. I haven't really used it, but I need to trim down all this bush along the edge, at least up to that oak tree, so that I have a wider path here. Because these bushes are just making it smaller and smaller. I probably wait till fall though, because all of this is poison ivy. And when the weather is cooler, I'll have tall boots on and my legs will be covered with good pants and just walk through and cut down all the bush. Because right now it's too hot to get fully dressed like that. Well, let's see. Oh, the boys are here. Phil, I don't think I said hi to you. I did see you come in. I think I was in the middle of the story. Unless I forgot. If I did say it, hello again. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take a lawnmower to it. Goats seem to be not my thing. I know they would clean it out, but... Ah, Ty isn't here? Just you two? If Ty was here, I'll get him some apples. Oh, look at Cletus. Coming behind us slowly. He just waddles when he walks. And there we go. The boys are doing good. Their swelling is down. And this guy has learned how to, well, he didn't stand too good, but I was hosing him down to cool him off. Oh, we should follow Rip and see where they went. Hi, Casey. And with all the rain, this is my apple tree. Well, Jovita, I don't know if that was so much grass or that whole hill is poison ivy. And I know the goats did eat all that out when I had them. But I mean, the goats got out and I would see them running the neighbor's field. It would just, I don't know, horses are easier for me to take care of. And this I need to trim as well. All the trees that are growing in on this. Of course it looks worse because everything's greened up right now, but I know the horses like walking through it because it removes the flies and mosquitoes off of them. Hi, LP. I don't have a lot of mosquitoes on my property. We didn't have any moisture for them to be breeding. So that's the one good thing about having a dry property. You don't have bad mosquito population. I picked up an apple for him. He's the only one that eats them. Casey and there, he always takes half too. Casey and Rip don't know what the apples are yet. But he thinks I've got food for him, but I only brought one apple. Sorry, buddy. Oops. I do have some mosquitoes buzzing in my ear. Well, thank you one day at a time. The video that I'm going to post, like I would say, looking at these guys, yeah, they look nice. When I saw my stud last night, oh my goodness. Well, it was yesterday during the day. He is so beefy right now. And one of my mares, she's way overweight. And the colts look so cool, but that crop of coals I won't be keeping for more than, maybe I might keep them for 2 years. We'll see. I think I'm going to try and sell them after training them a little bit. And in their first year, you can only do halter and, you know, trailering and things like that. But if they don't sell to someone who isn't a meat buyer, I'm going to take them home for another year and get them trained under saddle. Not looking to make tons of money off of it. I'm just looking to raise some good saddle horses, trail horses. I know that my mare that passed away this spring, my uncle would always buy the colts because they'd be these cute little Palomino half-size horses. And he sold it to a lady. That lady ended up selling it to somebody in Ontario. And the next thing that I saw was a picture of a lady riding him in a jumping class. So these horses do have the capability of becoming good, whatever discipline you want. I only have one that can be registered though, and I finally got everything up to date with the American Quarter Horse Association. If I wanted to, I could register Casey, but I do plan on keeping him and having him as my riding horse, so there isn't much point to it. Like, I don't need to have that piece of paper, but his full sister, his mom had a filly this year. I'm thinking I'll get her registered and get her trained nicely before I try to sell her. Okay, thank you for coming in one day. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to move much from here. The dog's even laid down at my feet here, racing around, and he's all panting now. And I had told my daughter after my live we're going to, I'm going to start tackling the kitchen. I need to stain the cupboard where I cut it and build a stand for the sink to go on. The tap is working, but the sink hasn't been installed yet. And we bought some lumber. We're going to be building her a new bed frame just to pick it up off the ground and get her room more organized. So lots of work ahead of us today. But I'm still going to be sitting in on the lives, visiting with people, listening while I work. So well, let's head back up. Come on, boys. There's Bo. Always a good... Oh, you're that tired? The ground's nice and cool here because the sun hasn't dried out this sand. Sand mixed with manure. Cletus, you tired? Oh, boy. To live the life of a dog, eh? Oh, I read that comment, Jovita. And they always go here to the horse bowl. This is one thing I gotta fix too, and I need to do this before winter because I've been saying this for 2 years. The horses get hot, so they paw the ground, flick sand on the flies, and they've dug over a foot into the ground. It's like a dip there. But I want to get rid of the railway ties and cement all that in and just be a better setup there. But I think I'm going to end it here and say thank you everyone for coming in. And I'm looking to be live at 12:30 every Sunday until I think of a different time. Well, Jovita, hopefully you guys get some rain soon. We finally got. I just hope it sticks with us and keeps raining on a regular basis. But I should go and get the other horses, fill their water bucket up, and then I'll probably see most of you over at MT later on. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.